I'm Felicia with Concepts in Health. Welcome to my presentation today, which is a continuation of a series that I've titled Sunday Supplements. I always learn new things about the supplement myself, and it's always like, really glad I'm taking this. Yeah, this is why I bought this supplement and started taking it however many years ago. Today I'm going to talk about astaxanthin. Astaxanthin is relatively new in the supplement world, around 10 years or so, but its popularity has just snowballed, and there's a good reason for that. People are getting results with astaxanthin, primarily in the areas of its antioxidant properties and its anti-inflammatory properties, and those are the two things we're going to focus on today. But before I get into a little bit more of the science of why and how it works, what is it? What is it? What is this strange word that's hard to pronounce? Actually, it is produced by an algae, naturally by an algae, in response to environmental stress. The algae, which starts out green, like we would think most algae, that's their color, ends up red. After maybe the pond is dried up a little bit and it's got the stress of the sun, very similar to the way that our skin tans in response to the sun, the melanin produced is a protective mechanism, believe it or not, for our cells. We abuse that with our sun-worshipping culture, and I'm a big fan of getting sun for vitamin D, but of course nobody should be getting burned or overexposing themselves to the sun, because it does induce, along with good things, the sun exposure induces a lot of good things. It also induces a protective mechanism by having us turn darker. And that's what's happening to the salmon as they feed on the algae and they turn the bright pink color. It's what happens to the shrimp and the lobsters when they feed on the algae. And it's what happens to the little baby flamingos who are born white as they begin to feed on the algae and grow up into pink adults. So that is all a result of astaxanthin. Well, in terms of human use, what they have discovered is it's a very powerful antioxidant. How powerful? Well, it's measured in different ways, but across the board, no matter what way they measure the antioxidant properties of astaxanthin, it comes in well ahead of something, let's say like vitamin E, 550 times stronger than vitamin E. CoQ10, try 800 times stronger. Vitamin C, 6,000 times stronger. Now, that doesn't make me not a fan all of a sudden of other antioxidants. There's a place for all of those. They all work a bit differently and in a bit different ways. But it certainly means that we should look seriously at adding astaxanthin to our diets for its antioxidant properties. What is it good for? Well, all of the other things that make all the antioxidants good for us, you can say more so with this: hair, skin, protecting those cells. That's what antioxidants do. That's what astaxanthin does. We know it increases elasticity of the skin cells. We know it protects from the sun. They did a study where participants took 4 grams of the astaxanthin for 2 weeks. They were able to withstand the same amount of sun without overexposing or burning for 20 or 30 minutes. It doesn't seem like much, and you certainly shouldn't use it to go out and get too much sun. But what about every day? What about protection? It's keeping you from oxidizing, just like it's keeping that apple from turning brown that sits out on the counter, from the effects of oxygen exposure. Okay, so same thing. The astaxanthin protects us in that way. We know through human clinical studies that it is very, very helpful in the treatment of brain diseases such as Parkinson's and dementia and Alzheimer's. It's also very good in the treatment of diseases such as macular degeneration, cataracts, and just eye fatigue. There's been like up to 10 human studies done on how wonderful it is to prevent eye fatigue and to increase clarity in our vision when our eyes would otherwise be tired. Okay, so could that really maybe correspond to putting off those readers? As too late for me, but maybe not for some of you. Or maybe it's not too late. Maybe I'm not going to go up on the scale now that I'm taking my astaxanthin. Also, now we'll talk about in a moment why it's so wonderful, especially for those, a property that makes it so wonderful for those brain and eye conditions. Let me jump to the anti-inflammatory for just a moment. Whether you've got an anti-inflammatory disease like carpal tunnel syndrome or arthritis, anything like that, any of the itises, okay, you're going to get good results by adding astaxanthin to your diet, to your supplement cabinet, because you're going to get those anti-inflammatory properties. One study in Sweden that yielded good results from the astaxanthin took healthy volunteer subjects, men who did deep knee bends to exhaustion. I don't know if they did them every day or every week, but over a period of 6 months, the ones who had taken the placebo gained 22% in their endurance, ability to keep doing the deep knee bends. I guess this was a measurement of time that they could continue the deep knee bends at any given day. The group who had taken the astaxanthin increased their ability to do the deep knee bends by 66%. So over 3 times, 22% compared to 66% increase in endurance strength. Also, for a post-workout supplement, or taking it every day for relief from post-workout symptoms of heavy workouts like sore muscles and joint fatigue. Excellent in that regard. Let me go back for a moment to why they're seeing such good results for, let's say, the macular degeneration, the Alzheimer's, the Parkinson's. The astaxanthin has a very unique property. A lot of your antioxidants are just water soluble, and because of that, they can't cross the brain-blood barrier. Vitamin C cannot cross the brain-blood barrier. Vitamin E cannot cross the brain-blood barrier. Astaxanthin can. This is exciting, okay? I've put up here a cross-section of a cell membrane, okay? You could go on around the circle with this. The cell membrane is made up of a thick wall like this that is designed to keep the intracellular material in and the extracellular material out. Now, there are all kinds of things. Cholesterol can float through this, and waste. There are tunnels that waste go out of. This is a way oversimplified drawing of this. There's tons of little components of the cell membrane inside it. It's a lot of stuff in there. But I kept it simple with the heads and the tails of what makes up the cellular membrane, just to show you that the little circular parts, they're the hydrophilic heads. They like water, okay? They do not like fat. The middle ones are hydrophobic. They do not like water. They like fat. Hydro meaning water, of course, okay? Phobic meaning not liking. Philic meaning attracted to. So whereas a lot of your antioxidants can only deal with one part of this membrane, the ones that are water soluble work primarily here and here. The ones that are fat soluble work on the inner layer. Your astaxanthin is going to work the whole depth of the cell membrane and go everywhere in your body. Muscles, brain, eyes. It can cross the retinal barrier, which a lot of things cannot. That's why we're seeing results with the macular degeneration and the cataracts and so forth. So it truly is a wonderful, wonderful addition to your supplement cabinet as a protective mechanism. There are studies being done now. They're still in the animal stage in terms of helping prevent cancer, cardiovascular disease. They're seeing good things there. But I'm not going to give those as much credence right now because they haven't even gone into the clinical studies with humans. We have enough right here with the human studies to want to take astaxanthin. Now, one thing I will warn you about is because of its popularity, a lot of companies are starting, chemical companies, pharmaceutical companies are starting to want to get on the bandwagon, you know, money talks, and make synthetic versions of the astaxanthin. Right now, at the date of this video, that is just in the planning stages, and most all of the astaxanthin that you'll find on the market is being farmed in good conditions. Hawaii is a major location where it's being farmed in ponds and harvested at just the right time. You know, they induce stress in the algae. It starts to produce the astaxanthin. They harvest it naturally. Only carbon dioxide is used, I think, in the harvesting and the processing of that. And so all the products out there, pretty safe. But start watching. Be careful what you buy, because I do believe that synthetic astaxanthin is on the way. There's pressure not only to sell it to humans as supplements, but also in the fish farming industry. You know, right now they're giving the farmed salmon dyes, which are, you know, that's on my no-no list, big. I always ask in restaurants and at the grocer, is this farmed salmon or wild-caught salmon? We want the wild-caught. But of course they know that we are not going to have white, pasty-looking salmon. So as opposed to having to say that this salmon has been fed dye, they would love to be able to say raised on astaxanthin natural color, whatever they're going to say. But you're going to be aware that in farming situations, the fish are not feeding on this algae naturally. It will be a synthetic astaxanthin. So those are going to be things to watch for in the future. I take a Hawaiian astaxanthin, okay? There's other Hawaiian brands or other good brands out there. I don't know if you can see the milligrams, but that's 12 milligrams a day. And that would be a higher end. It comes in anywhere from 4 to 12, but I take 12 a day. And I have seen a difference in my recovery from my workouts. I take a lot of supplements to help with skin and so forth, you know, with the aging complexion. So I don't know that it's fair to say that I have seen differences with astaxanthin, but it certainly is something that I'm going to keep in my antioxidant arsenal, and I hope you will too. Thank you for joining me and learning more about astaxanthin today. I hope that you will return to these Sunday supplement series and other videos in the future, that you will like me on Facebook, facebook.com/conceptsinhealth, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.